All right, so we can get started. So today we're going to let Tom show off some work he's been doing on the product pages, on the subscription and activation keys details pages. It's all you, Tom.
All right, so can you hear me? Anyone on the phone? On G+. Turn my volume up.
You sound good.
Okay. All right, so there is an outstanding PRD to allow the enabling and disabling of repos from the server. And this impacts, currently you have to go and edit the redhat.repo file or run some yum config commands. And so what I'm really talking about is, oops, I should go to my page. I shouldn't try to highlight in G+. Is this little setting here enabled by default? So what I want to do is first show what we currently have in terms of this page here and other pages which I'll go to. I'll show what I've implemented on the activation keys page so far, and then I'll sort of ask for feedback on how I should adjust the activation keys page, and also if we want to do something similar on these other pages, keeping in mind the time frame for all these changes is today and tomorrow. So any sort of crazy ideas, anything beyond the basics, will be pushed out for a while. Just keep that in mind. So good ideas, great ideas, welcome, but be realistic about what I can do. Walden can attest to what I can do. All right, so this is the subscriptions page. As you can see, it basically goes through the provided products in the subscription. That's this line here, and lists out all the content details. And what you see on the page here from this section here, so it's not divided up real well, is it? That matches very similarly to what you'll find in the redhat.repo file. Okay, so we're just displaying what's there. So compare this page to, it's interesting that the activation keys title says content views. So these are activation keys. And on this activation key, I have two subscriptions, the REL Premium and then a custom product. And if I go over to the product details page, so this is what I have done. So it's based upon the page we just saw, the products page of the subscriptions. So it's based upon that code. And if I expand one of these guys, wait for it, there you go. This page does take a little, so the other page we were just looking at, it does take a good bit of time to load, a noticeable delay. So what I've done here is just showing the enabled flag. So what this is allowing you to do is for the Red Hat Enterprise Linux 5 Server Beta source ISOs. Oh, you guys can't see my pop-up, can you? Does it work? You can see it?
Yeah, pop-up?
No, you can't see the choices.
The drop-down.
So I just clicked on it as a drop-down, and there are 3 entries. So the first entry is what you see, defaults to no. So by default, this product, when it came through the subscription, this repo is not enabled. And then there are 2 other choices, override to yes and override to no. So you can you can change its default when it lands in the redhat.repo file. So if I look for, so here.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah.
And that's just in the context of when using an activation key, it sounds like.
That's right. So the way this works is that when you register a system with this activation key, you'll get those 2 subscriptions, the REL subscription and the custom product subscription. And when you do a yum repo list and then go look at the Red Hat.repo file or query it in any other way, you will see, in this case, that Red Hat Subscription Asset Manager for RHEL 6 Server normally defaults to no. So you would have to go in there and manually enable it if you wanted to install SAM. Through this, the Red Hat.repo file will have enabled equal 1 when it lands on the disk, on the system. So you'll be able to immediately yum install Subscription Asset Manager.
Yeah, so we're just adding the ability to have more fine-grained control over the resultant repos after registration or an activation.
Correct.
Cool.
And so this page will show up here on activation keys and also on the content host itself. So you'll be able to, even after it's registered, you'll be able to go and override it there.
So what defines the values like defaults to yes, defaults to no, override to yes, override to no? Do we define those, or are those coming from somewhere?
They're coming with the subscription. So whoever does the product in the, whoever does the subscriptions up in the customer portal, the product team or whoever.
So yeah, so ultimately it comes from the manifest,
Correct.
which includes their subscriptions.
Correct.
And then for custom products, which therefore have custom subscriptions, you will also have these controls?
Well, it's sort of a question. Whoops, sorry. Let me click there. So one question is, you saw all the information on the previous page that had the GPG key and whether to use a GPG key in the content URL. The question would be, do I show all those details here as well, or just stick with what you can override?
Just put a link to get to the other information.
There's no easy way to link. I mean, I couldn't jump you over to that specific bit of information. That's a good idea.
Well, so I mean, the page that you were on that shows that information, what page is that?
This is a subscription under product details.
And you can't link to
But you can see the massive amount of stuff. So you would want to jump to this specific point in the page. So we could do that. I mean, we could put in...
Yeah, I mean, so ultimately, I guess with this page, the problem on this page is that there's no clear titles for stuff.
Yeah.
So
ideally, I'd want this page, which is my new page. I would like this new page to be used in the other page as well.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So, but maybe in this context, we only show the things you can override, and maybe in the other context, it does have more information.
Yeah, I mean, so with the goal in mind of changing the actual product page to look more like this page you're designing,
Yeah.
given that that's the future, I would say what you have now is sufficient until we get to a point where those things are the same, and then we'll worry about show or hide or highlight or a tooltip or whatever.
Yeah, and you'll notice the RHSM Subscription Manager, that's my custom product that I made, and I pointed to Jenkins build repo. And you can see it doesn't have any pluses underneath it. And I'm not sure how the flow is for custom products in Katello.
The flow in what way?
Well, so this has no provided products.
Right, because it is. So you may need to adjust your logic a little bit to take into account.
Yeah.
It is its own provided product.
Right. But it's odd that it's not here. So that's a bug I think we want to fix, yes? I'm looking at Justin here.
I don't know, because it's a little bit different.
Because it does land on the Red Hat.repo file,
yeah.
Right? I mean, it is an entry in the file, and in theory, Candlepin knows about it then, and I should be able to change its defaults as well. I should be able to enable and disable it.
It has content that you can modify.
Okay. All right.
You may just be looking
At the wrong spot.
at the wrong spot.
Okay. So yeah, so this one, the subscription manager should have a plus under it, and you should be able to enable and disable it as well.
Perfect.
Can I
Yep,
do
yep.
comments up now?
Mhm.
So I would probably I think we would probably want to hide any products and content that are both not enabled and not in the content view and environment.
Yeah, so that was going to sort of be my next step here. So, you know, Red Hat Beta, there's these huge number of things, none of which I have synced.
Right.
So if I go over to the sync status page, you see the only things I've synced are Kickstart, server RPMs, subscription asset manager, and then my custom product down here at the bottom. So unless is there value in showing all these other ones? So I talked briefly with Justin about this, you know, it seems to make sense to have sort of a context. So on a subscription page where you're not in an environment, I would just want to see all the possible things that are going to land in my Red Hat repo.
Well, I think even here we should hide
Yeah.
the ones that aren't enabled.
Yeah, not enabled.
Yeah.
Well, only ones that are synced. If I haven't synced it, I'm not going to get anything in my Red Hat repo.
You
file.
will,
I will?
as long as it's enabled.
Oh, I just need to enable the repo? Okay, all right, fine. So this page should just show the enabled products. And their
So at the top, it should show the enabled products, and then perhaps at the bottom, there could be a hidden thing that says, oh, like, here's products you don't have synced, or something like that. Because, like, completely not showing them may confuse people because they know they're associated. Like, I don't know, right? I don't know how smart users are to how our subscription mapping with repos and subscription manager works, because a lot of them still don't even use it. But I feel like if you completely hide it, somebody may get confused.
Yeah, so I was thinking like a filter, basically which type of view do I want to see. And if we take it a step further, why not just from here let me enable it? I have I'm looking at it.
Well,
When you say enable, do you mean sync?
No, I mean,
Enable it for sync?
yeah.
I mean, you could do it from there. In that context, you're looking at a single subscription versus across the entire satellite, which may be a little confusing. You may think, oh, I'm just enabling it for the subscription.
True. Which I'm not, because that's the same
Right.
content could be represented in other subscriptions.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but in general, kind of agreed, you know, some sort of filtering, you know, default be just show me what is enabled, perhaps a way to undo that. And then if I go back over to an activation key, so this activation key is in an environment and content view, that could further limit the product details, correct? Because if I've only synced SAM if I've only enabled SAM and library and synced it there, and I haven't promoted it to development, then the product details shouldn't have it. But I did give it a subscription to SAM.
But that if a system in that environment can't even subscribe to that subscription, they should be able to.
So we'll have
Maybe
to
they can.
check that.
Yeah. But regardless, they can't get the content.
So maybe there should be an indication. Perhaps there's an indication on that page, on this product details page.
Well, we got to be careful about making it too busy.
You mean an indication that this content isn't in the environment?
Yeah, like
I would even go beyond that. Either don't show it or completely segregate it out, because most likely you don't care about it.
yeah.
I think at this level, it's probably okay to not show things at all and not acknowledge their existence, because this is like post configuration, right? The activation key is of the crap that's available in this environment, what do you want to do with it? So
Yeah.
completely not available, like not showing it doesn't impact the user. But I think on the actual subscription area, we need to have some indication that like, hey, these repos would be available, but they have no content in the satellite. Like highlight them in red or something.
Yeah, and some text at the top saying like available
Tooltip.
content,
Yeah, tooltip. Yeah.
development, content review, whatever.
Okay. Yeah, I like that idea. Yeah, go ahead, Justin.
Thing
Hold on one second. Someone say something?
Yeah, hey Tom, this is Augie. Quick question for you. So I like the whole thing about enabling the setting the enable by default or not. Is that a way to do that via the CLI as well right now?
No. I mean, there will be, but no, this is not even in master yet.
Cool. Thank you.
I think a lot of our pages, especially the details pages, have a width limited to that. But I wonder if on this page it makes sense to.
I would love to make it full width. I was afraid to ask Walden any more questions. Though.
Okay.
Why?
My question would be more of like maybe each of those chunks should be a table with the last column, with two columns, the name and enable and a selector, because it's very hard to parse.
Yeah. The other page has the same problem.
Yeah, so
It's even worse.
So while right now all I'm exposing is overriding the enabled flag, everything else you see here can also be overridden through Candlepin. I'm not saying we want to expose that, okay? But for example, enabling saying whether or not to use a GPG key, which I don't see represented here.
There's a GPG URL.
Yeah, there's a URL, but there's not whether I'm going to use it or not.
Blank it out. Does that mean it doesn't get used? Oh, I see. You just say like
There is a use GPG key.
Verified GPT or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be nice for those to be kind of like a table that could be filtered.
So if you're going to add that stuff, the table does break down as a thing, and then we just need better white spacing and whatnot. And we need names of things to stop being ridiculous.
This is an example.
Never happening.
So this is another representation, again, of what we've seen on the other pages. So would this be, and if we said it was full width, would this be what you're thinking?
In terms of what?
This looks
white space and.
way.
If you're going to do a block like that, we need better white space and understanding of what each one is. You know, just separating things a little more better visually is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I agree.
Tom, can you show this this view for a product that has more than one repository? Oh, sorry, hold on.
I'm on a different page. So this section we see here in the UI, right, they're all the same fields: name, label, type, URL, etc. So I'm saying what I imagined this looking like, this section would look more like that other page we just saw.
Wow.
More like this.
But does it need to look like that all the time is the question. Like in the context of selecting a repo to be available or not available in an activation key, do I need all that info? Or are you referring to something different?
Well, let's say this is what it would look like over here. So this is the actual product details, where you would want to see everything.
You just lost me, I'm sorry.
I'm asking Eric Helms here if this form, this display of the data, if I use this same styling over on this page, would that be enough to make it look okay? Or would it need
You mean
more
this page or
division?
the activation key page?
No, this page. This one has all the details, right? So like, or would you want a table? So it's either, there's two choices, right? There's the form style, or there's a more table style, which is.
I almost think breaking it up into like a list of products, and you click on a product and go into the product, and then you see it broken up in some manner as well. Like this is just too much.
Oh, you-
a little scroll bar.
You mean like actually going to a new page?
Just within the details pane. Like sort of like with the repository, you have a list of repositories of the product. You click on the repository and see the full list or see the details. There's too much on this page.
So I would see it sort of here,
Yeah, list of products like here.
and then click on it, and then I would go to the details.
Yeah.
But it seems like, I mean, still having the table, it gives you some
You
summary.
still need to break it
Yeah,
up
exactly.
better, but
Yeah. Like I wouldn't just use the product name and then say that's all you see. You got to go
Yeah.
click to get more details. You know, use the horizontal space that we have to include useful information.
Okay, well I could try that.
You can try it. You might find it may look ugly. It's hard to tell because we have some of that just have such long date fields. The tables, you know, when they're just jammed in there, they start to. That we may find them do need to do vertical
Yeah, I mean, when it
form
comes
style display.
when it comes to like the URL and GPG key, those things get long. So,
Is anybody vehemently against this going into master? Since we are.
I would
against
just,
the
I would at a minimum only show what's enabled.
Okay.
Filter out what's enabled.
Okay.
And get custom stuff working.
Agreed.
Can you click the plus again?
Yeah.
Like similar comment here. What we were just saying.
It will be a lot better if you cut it down to what it, you're only going to have like.
Tom, the only thing on this page that's sort of unclear to the new user, like what are they actually looking at? It says product details. You see this stuff here, but it doesn't. You don't even really know that these are repos. You know, the problem with, we have a lot of things that it's like, what's the difference between a product and a repo? And it's just a lot of like red hat words there on the page, and like, what am I looking at?
Agreed.
So just that's the only thing that stands out on that page.
Oh, I thought you had a magical solution for me.
Just say the word "these are repos" or something.
Well, they're not. They're not even repos. They're a collection of repos.
Are they contents?
Oh right. This is
We call them.
these are the content sets.
so you're enabling an entire repo set, not
Yeah.
a repo. Okay.
So like I wanted to put words on the page, but honestly I didn't know I didn't know what the words should be. Like I didn't know if they were content sets or they were. This content set is all magical to me, man.
Yeah, I mean, don't tell them it's a content set. They're not going to know what the heck that is. That doesn't mean anything to anybody but us.
If you get to the enable repos page, I think you can use the same wording that's there now.
Yeah, I mean, calling them repository sets would be consistent. It would be sort of confusing. And maybe you need some way to see what repositories are in each one.
Wait, what?
Maybe you need some way to see what repositories are in each content set from that.
Well, when we get to the table, right, I'll be able to do that more easily. Okay. Okay. Any other thoughts, suggestions?
If you trim it down to just enabled, and it still takes that long, have some sort of like living.
Agreed.
Probably do that regardless.
You probably should do that regardless.
Agreed.
So when you say trim it down to enable, it's showing right now all the repo sets that you can see on the Red Hat repositories page, even if they're not. So, okay.
Yeah, so in this case, you would really only see, and that's funny too, see
Yeah, that makes total
my
sense.
ordering changed too.
Good old non-accurate data.
Okay, well, that's all I had.
That's all there is.
And I will demo this in the sprint review if there is one, when there is one for the Katello team. And as an FYI, when this lands in master, you will need a much newer version of Subscription Manager that has this capability enabled. So basically, the change in Subscription Manager allows Candlepin to deliver updates to the redhat.repo file. So the golden view of the redhat.repo file lives not on the system anymore, but in Candlepin.
How is this going to work with old versions of Subman?
Old versions of Submanager would just get the redhat.repo file and it'd be static. So what they would get, so let's say I overrode the enabled flag here to begin with. I should confirm that though, because they might get it through the entitlement. So yeah, overwrites may not work at all. And that was on my list to try to figure out how I could detect that and indicate to the user that this client doesn't support overrides. And that would be based upon the package version, I assume.
If we know what version it's going to require, can we put that in commit message?
Yeah, but I would even go so far as to put a tooltip or something on this page saying this functionality requires Subman version 2, .9, whatever it is, or.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, that's all for. You did not mute yourself. All right, that's all for today's review. Thanks everybody for coming, providing input. Enjoy your Thursday.